I was always fascinated by the Jewish people. They seem to be everywhere. They have a lot of power and influence in this world. Although lighter-skinned Jews like to claim to be white when it's convenient for them, Jews and whites are in fact very different. Jews have been kicked out of 109 countries throughout history. So they have picked up on all kinds of various genes. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to properly identify who is of Jewish descent. Because Jews particularly are so mixed, it can be very difficult to identify who exactly is a Jew. The more Jewish blood somebody has, the easier it is to spot them. To successfully identify a Jew, you have to examine all of their facial features. You have to look at their facial shape, nose, ears, eyes, mouth, and listen to their voice. People with Jewish blood always have more than one Jewish feature. I personally look for 3 or more features to decide if somebody is Jewish. Nearly all Jews have naturally curly and coarse hair. This is due to being mixed with Negroid blood. The more Jewish genes, the darker the hair is. Jewish men tend to have coarse beards too. However, those with Western European genes can have naturally blonde hair. Very few Jews have naturally straight hair. Another classic way of telling if somebody is a Jew is by looking at their nose. Most Jews have very long, curved noses with a hook. However, you can't rely on the nose alone to determine if somebody's a Jew. Italians, Slavs, Germans, English, Irish, and Native Americans also tend to have big noses. The man with the biggest nose in the world at this moment is an Italian man. Also, Jews like Trump's daughter get plastic surgery to make their nose look smaller. Many Jews have long, thin faces with a large forehead. I like to call this the dick face because I'm an anti-Semitic bigot. This is probably why Orthodox Jews like to wear these black hats, to cover up their huge foreheads. Also, Jewish faces tend to look very unproportional. They don't always have a huge forehead. Sometimes their foreheads are quite small. Regardless of the forehead size and shape, their facial features almost always look uneven. This is why I personally find Jewish men unattractive. Jewish ears are low set on their head and often protrude, like a mouse. Barbra Streisand is a perfect example of this. Jews almost always either have a big, bottom, pouty lip or very wide, thin lips like Kek the Frog God. There are 3 types of Jewish eyes: the Asian-like eyes, the pop-out eyes, and the sleepy eyes. Those with the Asian eyes have their eyes placed close to their nose usually. I think their eyes are like this because they have more Mongolian blood in them, but I'm not sure. Those with pop-out eyes almost always look surprised. Their eyeballs are so huge, they're literally almost popping out of their head. Some Jews' eyes tend to bulge out, particularly at the bottom corners, making them look derpy. Kinda like that one fine bro that kinda looks inbred. Ugh, I hate the fine bros. Jews with sleepy eyes almost always look tired, and their eyes kinda droop to the outer edges of their face. Their eyes are also kinda puffy and saggy. Jewish children almost always look smaller than other children. I have noticed that they grow at a slower rate compared to Gentile children. The Jewish child's skin tone is almost always a yellowish tint. Sometimes when the Jew grows up, he keeps that yellowish tint. Jews like to name their children after characters in the Old Testament. It's not uncommon to see a male Jew named Daniel, Adam, Noah, Jacob, and Elijah. The most common Jewish female first names I noticed are Elizabeth, Abigail, Ella, Hannah, and Leah. I also noticed that a lot of Jewish last names end in Berg, Stein, Witz, Cohen, and Levine, such as Albert Einstein, David Horowitz, Gerald Levine, Neil L. Cohen, and Mark Zuckerberg. Also, a lot of Jews emigrated from the former Soviet Union, so they may have Russian-sounding last names. Some Jews changed their last names to sound less Jewish. Take Jazz Jennings, for example. Jazz is a 15-year-old Jewish trainee who changed his name because it was too Jewish-sounding. Jews have squeaky, whiny voices and a very unique accent. It's really hard to explain their accent, so here are a few clips of Jews talking and people mimicking the Jewish accent so you could see.
Where is Tay? Is she all right? Is she safe?
When you're white, you don't know what it's like to be living in a ghetto. You don't know what it's like to be poor. You don't know what it's like to be hassled when you walk down the street.
Well, how could I do anything less than that? I'd have to be a sociopath to hit somebody's car and then go away into the night as if nothing happened.
I'm a Jew. The head of Hezbollah has said that he hopes that we will gather in Israel so he doesn't have to hunt us down globally.
Where should one look? Where I gotta look? This I don't know from this, okay?
There are currently 6,700,000 Jews living in the United States at this moment. The most common states that Jews reside in are New York and California. If you are in those states, the chances of you running into Jews are more common, so keep an eye out. Most Jews are quite short in height, but if they are mixed with more European genes, they tend to be taller. The more Jewish genes somebody has, the shorter they become. You rarely see a Jewish farmer outside of Israel. However, there are so many Jewish bankers, politicians, lawyers, doctors, psychiatrists, CEOs, and businessmen in the US. Jews tend to like those occupations the most. Now that I have taught you some tricks on how to identify a Jew, let's play a game to test your skills. It's called Find the Jew. Yay! Okay, so here we have Ethan from H3H3, Katy Perry, and Shaniqua. I'll give you a second to examine their faces. If you picked number 1, you are correct. Ethan has the classic curly dark hair, Asian-like eyes, and that pouty lip. Although Katy Perry has a lot of money, she is not Jewish. Her dad was a Christian pastor, and in fact, he gave some anti-Semitic sermons. If you picked number 3, I'm sorry to say, but I think you're blind. Let's play again. Here we have Martin Shkreli, who is an entrepreneur and pharmaceutical executive. We have George Soros, who is a far left-wing lobbyist, and Lacey Green, the YouTube feminist. I'll give you a second to examine their faces. If you chose number 1, you were incorrect. Although Martin's business strategies are very Jewy, he is an Albanian, not Jewish. His eyes, nose, hair, and lips are not Jewy at all. If you chose number 2, you are correct. George Soros is of Jewish and Hungarian descent. Unsurprisingly, he is a communist too. We know that he is Jewish because of his Asian-like eyes, his big nose, his mouse ears, and his kek lips. If you chose number 3, you are also correct. Look at her curly hair, her pop-out eyes, and her pouty lips. She also tweeted out that she was Jewish. Let's play another round. Here we have Eminem, the Wigger rapper, Ben Affleck, and Orlando Bloom, who are both actors. I'll give you a minute to analyze their faces. Well, none of these guys are Jewish, by the way. Haha, I tricked you. Neither of these men have enough Jewish features to be considered Jews. They all have very white-looking eyes, naturally straight hair, Gentile lips, and proportional faces. Eminem is a Wigger, but his manager is a Jew, not him. Okay, and this is the last and final round. Here we have Michael Bloomberg, Jared from Subway, and Bernie Sanders. I'll give you a few seconds to take a look at them. If you guessed all of them were Jews, you are correct. Although their hair is too short to tell if it's curly, they all have the classic dick face, thin lips, big nose, mouse ears, and unproportionate features. So guys, what about me? Do you think that I'm a Jew? Please tell me in the comments down below. I personally do not know if I'm a Jew or not. I don't know of any Jews that are in my family currently. I haven't done ancestry yet. I do plan on doing that eventually, someday. It's not a priority at the moment because it does cost a lot of money and I have some more better things to pay for. You can see my nose does look pretty big, but as we know, a lot of white people do have big noses. As far as I know it, I am Polish, German, Irish, and a little bit Native American, and all those ethnicities do have naturally big noses. I, however, do not have mouse ears, you see? I don't have mouse ears. My eyes, though, like as you can see, they're actually pretty big. I don't know if they would count as pop-out eyes, but they're pretty big. Also, my hair is naturally straight. I do not use a straightener. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I've been wanting to make a video like this for so long, probably a few years now. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more.